Modern corporations pour billions of dollars into high-end consultants and bleeding-edge software, hunting for fractions of a percent in efficiency and risk mitigation. The prevailing logic is that these businesses operate as ruthlessly objective machines, where every single choice comes down to mathematically maximizing the return on investment. Yet, amidst all that calculation, the vast majority of these companies are leaving a rigorously tested, data-backed strategy for long-term sustainability sitting untouched on the table. By passing up this specific operational asset, they are actively choosing to reject a clear competitive advantage, creating a massive behavioral paradox. That overlooked asset is gender diversity. The raw numbers show that companies with a higher percentage of women in leadership roles consistently make better sustainability decisions. That conclusion is entirely divorced from social opinions or political rhetoric. It is a verifiable, highly correlated metric tracked across global markets. Economists call this the gender dividend. Instead of treating diverse hiring as a localized human resources initiative, financial analysts treat it as a hard fiduciary asset that strengthens the balance sheet. Placing women in executive positions operates as a baseline operational necessity for any board claiming to maximize stakeholder value. To understand why this asset works, we have to look at the sheer volume of global economic research that backs it up. The World Economic Forum has repeatedly validated this correlation, highlighting how traditional, homogeneous leadership structures lag behind diverse ones in corporate resilience. Independent historical studies from McKinsey corroborate this, linking diverse executive teams directly to sustained financial and operational outperformance over multiple decades. Deloitte's internal research drills down even further, demonstrating that these specific companies consistently score higher on complex environmental metrics. Each of these institutions uses entirely different methodologies, different data sets, and different timelines, yet they all arrive at the exact same statistical conclusion. A data-driven executive board reading these reports has to accept that gender diversity operates as a mathematical prerequisite for top-tier environmental and social performance. The data is clear, but the mechanism behind it relies on a specific shift in how operational decisions are made in the boardroom. This chart illustrates the first mechanism, timeline expansion. When leadership teams diversify, the erratic focus on short-term quarterly profit grabs smooths out into a steady, compounding strategy built for long-term stability. As that timeline extends, the scope of planning broadens. The strategic web expands outward as diverse boards actively pull in a much wider array of external stakeholder perspectives to inform their decisions. Finally, all that external data feeds back into the organization, building a more inclusive internal culture. That wider safety net hardens into a boundary of highly effective risk management. By expanding timelines, broadening perspectives, and fortifying culture, corporations build an infrastructure mechanically designed to survive the strict demands of modern sustainability. So why do supposedly calculating, profit-driven corporations continue to hire as if these global studies were never published? To see exactly how severe this disconnect is, we can look at a specific regional market where this structural failure is on full display. In this environment, the resulting lack of diversity functions as a deliberate refusal to utilize a documented, lucrative competitive advantage. That disconnect is sharply visible here in the Philippines. Despite a heavy influx of global economic data, women remain severely underrepresented at the highest levels of corporate leadership. While international organizations map out the statistical benefits of diverse executives, local corporate boardrooms remain stagnant, clinging to outdated demographics. This persistent demographic gap acts as an active, self-inflicted handicap on the nation's broader economic trajectory. By entirely ignoring the gender dividend, the Philippine corporate sector actively hamstrings its own sustainability and long-term survival.